Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Stars and Stuff. I'm Soren. Today we're going to be continuing our series, Space Mysteries. In today's video, we're going to talk all about the mysterious force known as the Great Attractor. It's very strange and quite mysterious. So put on your thinking caps because we've got some crazy stuff we're going to talk about. So before we go into what exactly the Great Attractor is, first let's cover where it can be found. The Great Attractor can be found in the Laniakea supercluster. What is a supercluster, you may ask? Well, a supercluster is a big clump of galaxies, gas clouds, nebulae, and they're generally pretty massive. As for this supercluster, the name tells us a lot about what to expect when it comes to its size. If we break down the name of this supercluster, we see that Lana means heaven and Akea means immeasurable. And the Akea part is pretty accurate because this supercluster is 500 million light years across and holds more than 100,000 galaxies. In fact, it's so vast the astronomers didn't realize at first that it was actually 5 superclusters all grouped together, which I personally think makes it a super cluster, or maybe a super duper cluster. I don't know. Now these clusters should slowly be falling apart from each other, but strangely, they aren't. In fact, they're getting closer together as if something is pulling them. What could possibly pull something with 100,000 galaxies, you might ask? Well, something sucking a supercluster together isn't unusual in of itself, but the pulling that we see in the Laniakea supercluster is beyond anything that would be expected, as though something is pulling the entire supercluster together like a sinkhole. So what could possibly be causing this strange phenomenon? The answer is the Great Attractor.
Okay, that's everything I know. See ya. Tune in next time for the rest of this two-parter joke.
Just kidding. Okay, so all jokes aside, the Great Attractor is a gravitational anomaly in space that appears to be sucking up a lot of what's around it. But really, that's almost all that we know about what it is. We don't know if it's a black hole, or a huge galaxy, or something else entirely. But we have to assume that it's a black hole, because what else is there for it to be? The reason we have no idea what it is because it's in the zone of avoidance, ZOA, meaning it's blocked by the Milky Way's plane. It looks like a cloud of colors, and it's full of dust and gas. This is the Milky Way. It's known as the ZOA because it's nearly impossible to see past it. But eventually we will go around the center of our galaxy, which I'll talk about in a later video in this series, and see this blind spot. But let's be real. It'll take so long, it'll probably already be sucked up or collided with whatever it is. What's also scary is the Great Attractor is estimated to be 10 quintillion times the mass of the Sun. The Sun is 4 nonillion times, which is a 4 followed by 30 zeros. So math here means that it's a 4 followed by 49 zeros. 49! Now this is an estimate that fluctuates as we discover other things out in space that are also pulling things around. Speaking of, there's another Great Attractor in a supercluster called the Shapley supercluster. It didn't get much attention until the 90s, a few decades after the discovery of the Great Attractor, when no less than 40 papers were written on it. The Shapley Attractor, as they call it, is actually attracting the Great Attractor, meaning that it's even bigger than the Great Attractor. The Shapley Attractor is over 500 million light years away and has the length of 100 million light years across. It is home to 8,000 galaxies. So while everything in our supercluster is being pulled towards the Great Attractor is being pulled towards the Shapley Attractor. About 44% of the speed which we are going in that direction is from the Great Attractor, and 56 is from the Shapley Attractor. But wait, there's even more! Say hello to the Vela supercluster, the supercluster that the Shapley supercluster is being pulled towards, which our supercluster is being pulled towards. So it's a bigger fish. This supercluster is also in the ZOA and is a huge supercluster and pulling, you guessed it, the Shapley Attractor. Now it's only pulling the Earth 150 miles a second added to our speed, but that's about 1%, and so it's 44%, 55%, and 1%. The final piece of the puzzle, other than what these are, black holes, galaxies, or something else. So the biggest mystery behind all of this is what these attractors actually are. Of course, because they're all hidden behind the ZOA, we can't really see them, and therefore can't tell what's causing such a strong force in any of them. Hopefully, as time goes on and our technology advances, we will someday be able to better observe their mysterious forces and find some answers to the many questions we have about them. So that's all we have on the Great Attractors as of now. Let me know in the comments what you think might be behind this strange phenomenon. Thank you all for tuning in. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.
Oh, did I tell you about that book I'm reading on anti-gravity? It was so good that I couldn't put it down. My gravity joke is getting kind of old, but I fall for it every time. This is close to a tinfoil hat, right?